Welcome into our overtime segment here at SportsSource.tv. Appreciate you joining us. This segment brought to you by Jinx Logos. Guys, want to look at 6 wins. Tennessee, to get to a bowl game, they're going to need 6 wins. Where are they going to come from? Let's take a look at the schedule that Chuck is so kindly holding for me. Utah State, Arkansas State at home. Both of those were bowl teams last year. Arkansas State, of course, has produced Hugh Freeze to Ole Miss. They produced Gus Malzahn to Auburn. At Oklahoma, who whipped Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. At Georgia. Florida, Chattanooga, at Ole Miss, Alabama, at South Carolina, Kentucky, Missouri, at Vanderbilt. Where are the 6 wins for Tennessee to go bowling?
I think you got to start off. I mean, obviously, to get to it, you got to start off your season 2-0. I think the 6 wins, if you get the 6, it comes in the second half of the season when all this young talent, which you're going to be playing a lot, they're going to be veteran guys. After you get through Alabama and you're going to South Carolina. So I think that's where you got your best shot. Obviously, you pick up Chattanooga as you're going to be your 3rd win. Here's the thing for Tennessee. You're going to have to pull an upset to get to 6. And you may have to pull 2 upsets to get to 6. I think you see 4, your non-conference, 3 your non-conference games, and I think Kentucky. I think this year that probably you get back on top at Vanderbilt, but that 6th one's hard for me to find.
To me, the keys are you got to go 3-1 in non-conference games. Then you need to beat Kentucky and Vanderbilt toward the end of the year. The other game, to me, has to come between either Florida or Missouri. One of those two. Florida's coming off a 4-8 season. I don't know how good they're going to be this year. They certainly have talent, and then Missouri's losing a lot of players, so it's going to come there. And one of those, I think they have to get. Last year they lost to Georgia in overtime, beat South Carolina. So at home they did well against some pretty good teams. Mm-hmm. So I think one of those other wins has to come there.
Chuck?
I look at it and see Ole Miss is kind of like one of the key swing games because you're having to go on the road, which is tough to do in this league. And I also see the Missouri game. Those are the 2 that if you need to at least split those 2 to have a chance to get to 6 wins, because like we've talked about, if you start off with Utah State, Arkansas State, get those, at least you got started, because we know how tough the middle part of this is.
Yeah, the Ole Miss thing, they are being built so similarly to Tennessee in terms of style of play. They play faster than Tennessee, but it's still a hurry up. They had the one big, great recruiting class, Hugh Freeze, first time around because they had some ties to the state, just like Tennessee did with Butch Jones this past year. I just think they're a year ahead of Tennessee in that rebuild. Hugh Freeze in year 3, Butch Jones in year 2. I think that one's a tough one on the road. I don't know that this team's ready to go on the road. We didn't see that last year. They certainly didn't play well on the road.
And they got a pretty good quarterback.
Yes, they do. And the thing with and he's a running quarterback, which gave Tennessee fits last year. We'll see if there's a little bit more speed. I don't know that it's going to be experience, but you may have more speed out there this year. But Utah State and Arkansas State, Utah State has one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the country coming back if he's healthy from a knee injury. But they've lost a lot of players. They only have 7 returning starters. That Arkansas State game, to me, is the one that both of those are being penciled in as, Tennessee will wipe the field with those. I'm just not certain of that. Those are 2 programs that are pretty decent. I don't think fans some fans don't appreciate that yet. Those 2 who are talking about 8 wins certainly don't.
Well, those 2 teams won bowl games last year. They might not have been the greatest bowl games, but they at least won bowl games. And Utah State, I think, was 9-5. Arkansas State, I think, won 8. And by the way, their coach went to, was it Brigham Young? Where'd he go?
He went to, where did he go?
Boise State.
Yeah. Harsin.
Harsin. So they've lost 3 pretty good coaches in a row to pretty good schools.
And we know, other than Chattanooga in this middle part, even the past few years, that's been a killer schedule. Yeah. The for October or whatever, and you're still looking at that, at Oklahoma, at Georgia. I mean, that is just really tough. If you cannot go to Ole Miss and win, you're going to have a stretch there where Chattanooga is going to be your only really legitimate victory through that whole stretch.
Well, here's the thing. You're rebuilding off of a 5-7 year, all right? So you've lost your entire offensive line, entire defensive line off a 5-7 team, and that schedule would look pretty good if you handed it to LSU. I mean, that would be nobody would look at that and say they're playing pansies. But so when you put it with a team like Tennessee, it's more of a concern. All right, are we predicting 6?
No, I'm not predicting 6.
I had predicted 6. You've about made me change my mind with all those numbers you threw at me. I had Tennessee at 6, and that's where I'm going to stay temporarily.
Yeah, I think I am too, just because I have so much confidence in his coaching staff and really think some of these players coming in, that they're going to get some contributions out of them.
I've got confidence in this coaching staff. I think they got the right guy, but I still think 5-7. That's where I am right now, but we may change it. We'll revisit this over the summer as things change. All right. Hey, see you right back on Channel 6 next week at 11 a.m. on Mother's Day. We'll be having a big show with Jim Wogan, Gene Patterson, John Wilkerson, Bob Hodge, looking at the most compelling, interesting stories of the last 25 years. And we'll see you right back here on SportsSource.tv right after that with all kinds of updates from the show. We keep you up to date every single week. All right. Thank you very much. See you next week.